he just hopped off stage, literally just hopped off stage from delivering an exceptional product keynote. We're here with NetSuite SVP of Product Management, Gary Wiessinger. Hi, Gary. Do you need to catch your breath for a second?
A little bit.
You literally just sprinted here. The other thing is
it bounce?
I did not know that you were an avid gamer. How do you find the time?
Well, I was mainly an avid gamer back when video games looked like my opening video. It's gotten a little harder with life and kids and everything else, but I still sneak in a game here or there.
Yeah, well, I asked Fritz this while we were watching. Do you actually drive a motorcycle?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, I wonder if he actually has one at home. So I just had to ask that.
I was thinking he was a Harley guy.
Yeah.
One of my brothers is a big Harley guy.
Okay, there you go.
So sadly no, but who knows? Maybe this will be the inspiration.
Yeah, it's safer that way.
Yeah,
we need you here at NetSuite.
The virtual motorcycle is a hell of a lot safer than I agree.
So tell us what inspired this idea of the power-ups when you're thinking about NetSuite products.
Yeah. Obviously, it was a play on the video game theme, but it accurately describes how we think about those. Sometimes we call them our hows, how we innovate, how we delight our customers, and it describes the impact they have. They power up the benefit of NetSuite, and they power up our customers' success. So it was sort of fortuitous, but it really does. I mean, these things boost our customer success. And as I talked about, there's some interdependence in them, in that ease and automation and insight are important power-ups, but then intelligence further powers those up, and then most importantly, sweetness powers all of them up. And it is amazing the power of the suite to make each of those more powerful.
Well, I want to talk about sweetness, and we're going to come back to some of those other topics, but in terms of sweetness, I'm not going to make you recite the numbers off the top of your head, but some interesting numbers around both service companies and product companies.
66%, 150%, 5 times.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, look at that.
I did rehearse once or twice before the
Yeah, I think it was something like, I don't remember all the products, but if you use fixed assets,
expenses and now you're really testing me.
Yeah. I couldn't write it down fast enough.
Advanced financials, advanced revenue management, net expenses 66% faster, and then if we add in SuiteWorld and a couple others, we get to the 150%. People heard it. We don't need to repeat it.
Yeah, but that data is really kind of underscores the value of it. And what I'm wondering is, at what point in the customer journey does that idea of sweetness? I mean, we hope they buy NetSuite for the sweetness, right? But sometimes it takes time for them to realize, okay, you know what, I could get even more value if I add this. So when does that aha moment usually happen?
I think it happens in multiple phases. It starts even at the first purchase decision. We find that a lot of our customers or prospects choose NetSuite because they share really the vision of the suite, and they see the benefit. Now, that doesn't mean they purchase the whole suite up front. It doesn't mean certainly they implement the whole suite up front, but they're buying typically financials first with the vision of implementing more of the suite over time. And then we work with them through our AMO business reviews, through ACS, and other mechanisms to help them decide, based on their evolution, when it makes sense for them to take on more of the suite. It's one of the things that we've evolved in our thinking over time. We used to go in and say, look at the suite, buy the suite. And people bought the vision, they bought into the vision, so they bought the suite. And then they were overwhelmed by the implementation, by changing that much of their business process on day one.
Right.
We said, okay, hold on, we're not doing them a service by doing it this way. Let's help them see the vision, but then help them progressively get to the full suite.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I say this all the time, but I have the honor of talking with our customers all the time, and that's the exact thing I hear. One of their favorite things about NetSuite is we come in and we start with exactly what we need in that moment, but then we know as we hit each new level of growth, we're going to be able to unlock more capabilities.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And speaking of new customers, NetSuite Guided Learning is going to have some real benefits there.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the thinking there?
Yeah. No, it's super cool technology that we're leveraging an Oracle technology to create, and working with an Oracle team. We find when we've done research and insight into how users learn and prefer to learn, and we've done a lot of research into it. And not surprisingly, the number one way people learn is on the job and from other people, other users. Well, NetSuite guided learning is a little bit like, a coworker, teaching you on the job. Instead of going to, there's no bad way to learn. We have classes, we have online classes, we have the documentation, we have Suite Answers. They're all fantastic and important, and they're different learning styles for different people. But that isn't the right style for some people. And so this, for people who want to learn on the job, kind of step by step, it allows them to do exactly that. And Craig showed it, in Portuguese, and even I don't speak Portuguese, but I could understand what was happening. It goes step by step, and then once you know how to complete a task, you can clear that out. It won't be there forever. Right. But it helps you, and we can tailor that by country, by vertical. Even customers themselves can tailor it to their own unique business processes if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, going back to kind of what we just talked about, so we start with kind of this guided learning, then we're taking more, the full suite ahead really is the concept.
Right. That's right.
Does it ever shock you, the level of growth that customers reach, like as they continue to unlock more and more?
Yeah, well, and some of the numbers that Fritz was citing, the 66%, 150%, 5 times growth of products companies, yes and no. Yes, in that before we pulled the numbers, I wasn't expecting them to be that high. We did do some research to say, okay, let's look at this, and we were expecting good numbers. I wasn't expecting 5 times. So, yes, from that perspective. No, in that we know the vision of the suite works. We know it's right. We've seen firsthand the benefit of the companies that have adopted more of the suite and eliminated the hairball and gotten those benefits of sweetness and collaboration across units, departments, and insight across departments, and automation across it. We see it, and so from that perspective, no, it's not surprising. Now, certainly there's some causation and correlation in there. I'm not going to claim that that's entirely based on the suite. It's not. Those are fantastic customers who they deserve most of the credit. And a customer who's growing fast is more likely to say, okay, I'm evolving to that next stage, and I'm going to adopt something. So there's some correlation there, but I firmly believe there's also some causation. I do believe the suite helps in that growth. So we had a moment yesterday with our customer, Chicago Music Exchange. We had them on, we showed a video of This Is How We NetSuite, which is our new series here at NetSuite TV, but it dives into how they customize the product to really meet their individual needs. And the CEO of that company, Andrew Yonke, hey Andrew, if you're watching, he said, the thing about NetSuite is it's not just the product, it's us. We also have to know how to level up with the product side by side, so I think that's a great point. It's the customer who's doing the amazing thing, because you also have to be in a great place. We're just enabling their superpowers. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
I want to jump back to intelligence, which you spent a lot of time setting up in the very beginning, and some of the different ways we look at it. And I also thought it was interesting as we kind of went through the keynote. Just for example, Hanif talked about automatic approvals from timesheets to payroll, right? You showed an example of invoice approvals. You got 70 invoices. If you apply some rules, maybe it's just down to 4, right?
That's right.
And often I think sometimes the intelligence and how it leads to automation, the best intelligence is the ones that you don't even notice anymore, right? But so how do we get customers to kind of understand the value that we're constantly looking at in each and every part of the product?
Yeah, well, you make a very good point, and good job remembering the numbers of invoices from the demo. You clearly paid attention. Good to see. I talked about this, and it's really important. We all talk about automation. The industry talks about robotic process automation. It's a big, it's a buzzword. I think there's more talk, like a lot of these things, there's more talk than action, or for at least the others. But the thing that I don't think others pay enough attention to is the emotion behind it and the trust. Right? And it's true for automation, but it's also especially true for intelligence. Right? AI and ML can do a lot of things that users wouldn't trust it to do.
Right.
And maybe it does it better, but if they don't trust it, it doesn't matter that we built it, because they won't use it. They'll turn it off. We've all experienced, apps or services where we'll do this for you. And what do? We we turn it off because we're like, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I don't trust that it's going to do the right thing for me, right? So part of what we need to do in creating automation and creating intelligence is give them the right control and visibility so they have the trust that, yeah, that is going to do what I want it to do, and I'm going to still have the right control around it. So we put a lot of emphasis into that.
And I just, we talked about guided learning, and you talked about, NetSuite as that other coworker watching you, and in the keynote, you talked about, it watching what you're doing and learning from it and then taking that over. That kind of freaks people out a little bit too.
Yeah, you're right, and it's the same kind of thing. Big Brother and all kinds of stuff. And so it all has to be done with their permission. They opt in. We're not going to do any of this stuff without them knowing. And again, visibility. With any of our automations, any of our intelligence, we give them areas where they can go in and see what we've done and why we've done it. And so, yes, it does make people nervous. That some of that will subside over time as people get more in our lives, get more comfortable with AI ML. But it is an important thing. It's something we think about a lot. Last year I talked about design thinking and how much we believe in that. And one of the principles of design thinking is embracing the emotions of your user, your customer, and not just in empathy, not just understanding what they need, but also how they feel. And again, I think that's true everywhere, but it's more true in automation and intelligence than anywhere else, and it's something we are working hard to do.
I mean, that's innovative in itself. You don't hear a lot of software companies talking about empathy and emotion.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm fully impressed by that. I think that's amazing.
And even that's probably making some people a little freaked out. Like, how do they know how I feel?
It's okay. It's okay. Be in touch.
Why do they care how I feel? I just want them to add my numbers together.
Exactly. So there was a lot of talk about kind of some of this international expansion that's happening. We heard about NSAW, for example, international compliance. Yep. Is there anything else you want to hit on in terms of how we're growing and scaling internationally?
Well, we're doing a bunch of different things, but the big exciting announcement is Brazil.
Right.
We've been working on that for a while. As Craig showed, it is an insanely complex regulatory environment, and which creates a lot of pain for our customers, which means it creates a lot of responsibility for us, because they hire us to manage and automate their compliance for them. And so it's been a ton of work over several years, but it's also a good opportunity for us to help many others, and it's a good business opportunity for us. It's the 8th largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
So we're super excited about that, but we're all continuing to expand and improve our compliance elsewhere. We're seeing a lot of countries are increasing their kind of volume of compliance, if you will, at a pace I've never seen.
Yeah.
And some of that is because it's enabled by technology. Because technology can automate things like e-invoicing, they say, okay, well, now we're going to require you to send it to us, and you have to do all these things within that invoice before you can send it to us. It would have been too onerous even for them, the government entity, in the past to do that. And so, again, technology is enabling them to put more kind of friction on their constituents. That's where they come to us, our customers come to us and say, NetSuite, can you help with this? And that's our responsibility to take care of them.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I don't want this moment to slip, and I was a little surprised in a good way to hear Elham talk about OCI and how many of our customers are now on OCI. Because I remember just yesterday, we were just starting out.
Yeah.
And now she said most of our customers
that's right.
are in OCI data centers.
Absolutely.
Like, wow,
that's huge.
That happened overnight, it felt like. I'm sure it did.
It feels that way to you and me. It doesn't feel that way to our cloud ops team, who's been working tirelessly for years, and the OCI team. But yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we've moved relatively quickly on it, and still have work to do, but it's been a huge win for our customers. I mean, NetSuite, we're not a data center operations business, right? We're in the business of making applications that help our customers run their businesses. Before the Oracle acquisition, we needed to be in the data center operations business. Well, we don't have to be directly in that business anymore. Oracle, the other parts of Oracle are doing that for us, and with some world-class technology that's delivering massive benefits. So Yeah, OCI is a huge win for our customers.
Yeah, and more data centers all over the place, which is a huge growth.
The pace at which we are spinning up data centers, 11 in 5 cities in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
When we got acquired, we had like 6 total.
Yeah.
After 18 years or something of being, something like that. Have to check my history books in business, and now we're adding 11 in a year.
Yeah.
No way we could have done that without OCI.
We talked to Nick Mooney and Chris Blum yesterday, and they were saying it takes 6 days or something to build a data center, but then it's all the testing. The long part of it is the testing and all of that for 6 months. Now, before we head out here, Gary, I have to mention something.
All right, I'm a little nervous.
Can we see your socks?
You may.
Go to the. Oh,
all right.
sure, yeah. Here, we'll
Where
show.
am I going?
Yeah, we'll show that camera right there. Let's see these socks.
These are my Sweet Stanley socks.
I love it.
Super Stanley socks from NetSuite last year. I bought them in the Suite store.
Yes.
And they give me a little extra something when I go on stage for SuiteWorld.
I thought you were going to call them your Power Up socks.
they are. I will now.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take any credit away from Super Stan.
Right. Exactly.
It's
I'm inspired by to have more energy this year than last.
There's something. I think it's the socks. I think it's the socks.